Hello, my name is Mars, and welcome back to Stray Gods. It's Apollo time. I'm not expecting this to happen, really, but this game would really impress me if we go and talk to Apollo and he's like, "Where the hell have you been? I've been waiting for you all day." And I'm just like, I was out frolicking with my half goat boyfriend. You know how it is. I don't expect that to really happen. I think it'll just play out as if we've gone to talk to Apollo at the start of this day. Let's see this guy. And the Oracle.
Ah, Grace, you're back. That's good. I was just about to call you.
He means he wants me to call you because Paul here still hasn't figured out how to use a phone.
That. That's not true. I know how. I just don't like them. They're confusing. Anyhow, I've been contemplating our list of suspects, and I think Pan is someone we need to consider.
No. I thought you discounted Pan.
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
Persephone did, but I've had time to think it over. Pan is a schemer, a traitor in favors. He always has been. His sudden appearance in all this cannot be coincidental.
You think he could have killed Calliope after all?
Perhaps. Or he knows who did and is trying to turn it to his benefit. He always knows more than he pretends.
What's this about phones?
Wait. You don't like phones?
I just don't like talking to people I can't see.
No, it's the ringtones. They scare the crap out of him. I kid you not.
I'm not frightened. Only a child would be frightened. They're just very loud.
Yeah.
Can we return to the subject of Pan, please?
You might be right about Pan. I thought it could be Medusa, but now I'm not so sure.
Why? Is that why you've taken so long to see me? You've
Oh my god!
been investigating on your own?
He said it!
Right, let me explain.
He actually reacted.
You went to see Medusa and you didn't even tell me? Grace, that could have ended very poorly.
It worked out fine. We didn't really need to do it. She turned out to be kind of a dud lead, but it was fine. It was all good.
It could have, sure, but it didn't.
This time. Still, you learned a great deal.
It cleared Medusa, but Pan, not so much. Just the opposite.
Why?
Aphrodite is holding a party of sorts, one you should attend. She is closest to Pan. Indeed, she knows almost all the idols. If anyone is up to something, she's bound to know.
I can't believe he really did react to the fact that I took so long. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. And I reject Pan being a suspect. I don't know why going to see Medusa made Pan more suspect. You were all kissy on him afterwards. Grace, what are you talking about? I know that was my choice, not hers, but what are you talking about? It made Pan more suspicious. What kind of party is this?
What do you mean by a party of sorts? I mean, I'm always down for a party, but...
It's more of a remembrance than a party, really. It's difficult to describe.
That's awfully vague, Apollo.
It'll be easier to see for yourself. It's nothing you can't handle.
Why can't you talk to her?
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
Well, talking to Aphrodite isn't something anyone does with much success these days.
Well, if that's the case, what makes you think I'll get anywhere?
There's a standing invitation for the Muse to attend this party. Calliope never went, so Aphrodite will be thrilled to see you. Trust me. If I thought you couldn't get her to talk, I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay, I'll go. Eventually.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Paul, you should see this. The names you wanted me to look up are getting weird results.
I don't doubt it. I was hoping you could...
Get over here!
No worries, Paul. I'll see you later.
What else is there to talk to Apollo about? We've gotten a lot of updates here, but I don't know if I want to read them all. Let's just skim these. Medusa corroborated Asterian's story. She followed Calliope, saying she fled there having already been attacked. What was she even doing there? Hecate and the Minotaur, with access to the reliquary, or a third person who somehow got in and out undetected. Am I stuck now? No more. Aphrodite throwing a party, which I'm very excited for. I have not interacted with her very much at all, but I know I love her. I love her design. Just look at that dress. Look at this little detail and these details. It's a great dress on a great lady. Aphrodite knows everyone who's anyone and might be able to help me. He's been being kind of vague about what the party's about, though. Should I be worried? Despite all his abs and surfer looks, Apollo is just like some grandpa who's never managed to keep up with the times. At least he doesn't shake his cane at all the young whippersnappers passing by his house. Unless he does, how would I know? Or you know what I was thinking? Sensory issues. Maybe he's got a lot going on in his head with his prophecies and whatnot. Maybe he got a little of the autism, you know. Just a thought. Anything more on Athena? No. Persephone? No. Went to see Medusa. Pan showed up. Apollo suggested that Pan's a schemer and we shouldn't completely disregard the idea of Pan being a suspect. Nefarious deeds, I guess. No more on him. I'm so surprised she went along with it. My power doesn't make anyone admit to anything they don't want to, so I guess deep down she wanted love as much as Asterion did. I suppose her book tells her how their relationship turns out in the end, but it doesn't look like it matters to her much. I hope this means she can be happy, at least for a while. It wasn't all that hard. Hecate was only 2. His love for her was real, and it is, I think it really is. The two of them are ridiculously cute when we're together. We might have read that. Medusa isn't an idol. She's an immortal creature, cursed by Athena. She accompanies idols to survive, turning people into stone, except sometimes she just paralyzes them so she can eat them. Her curse includes an insatiable hunger, and I almost got to experience it firsthand. She more or less corroborated what Asterion said. She followed Calliope to the reliquary because Calliope is trouble, so Medusa keeps an eye on her for Athena. Medusa claims she didn't kill her, that Calliope fled the reliquary. She could have just chased after Calliope, eager to chow down, and Calliope just got away. Medusa seems more terrified of Athena blaming her than anything, though. Her fear feels real, so I think she's telling the truth. Yeah, I don't think Medusa had anything to do with it. We could go back to talk to Apollo about stuff, I guess. But let's go to the party. I wanna chat with Aphrodite.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace, you made it. I'm so glad. I was beginning to wonder.
You didn't say this was a fancy party. I feel a little underdressed.
So is he.
Grace, look at me.
Yeah.
I didn't even button up my shirt. It's fine.
Oh, I appreciate that shot very much.
Why is everyone so quiet? You'd think someone died.
I should have told you about this earlier. I've been putting it off.
That doesn't sound good.
I don't like the sound of that. What am I missing?
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
I mean, I feel like that solves our problem. Why do we need to take a week to... Why do we only get a week to prove that we're not the killer? Shouldn't we just wait until Calliope's memories come back to us and then we can prove that way? Like, because we have her memories? Nobody told me that.
Seems like the sort of thing you should tell a new idol.
New idols are usually chosen. You would know about this already, except...
Except Calliope was murdered.
Well, remember how old we all are. There are so many memories. So the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Will I become Calliope?
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
Aphrodite's going to die?
When you say she's gonna pass on her eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
In front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
It's a temporary fix, though, and then someone else has your terrible memories. Like, no, I don't like it at all, but, let's ask these questions before we say that. Aphrodite has done this before?
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think, perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past, while she still remembers it.
So, what I'm getting, this is a coping mechanism that is a twisted mix of suicide and like a drunken bender to make yourself forget. That is messed up, and all the fancy parties and shiny veneers you put on that won't make it less messed up. That's my thought on it. If there is an opportunity to prevent Aphrodite from doing this, I will do that. Because Calliope didn't approve, I don't either.
Wait. Calliope refused to come to these parties. That's what you said.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Honestly, I don't like that either. Telling someone who is obviously depressed and in an emotionally bad state that they're wallowing and they need to try harder is not helpful. Yes, Aphrodite is not going about this in a healthy way, but that's a really harsh, unnecessarily harsh way to put it, especially if you're saying it to her face. So, I'm not necessarily on Calliope's side here either, but yikes, this whole situation is icky yucky. And to the game's credit, I think it realizes that.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war, and eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
I don't like this idea at all. Let's finally say it.
I don't know, Apollo. I don't like the whole idea.
You want her help, don't you?
Yes, but...
At least speak with Aphrodite before you make a final decision. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Okay.
Mingling.
Talk to people.
Yeah, mingling.
Yes.
Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Yes, let's go talk to the unromanceable love of my life. Who I'm sure is very sad about what's happening to his mom. Or he's used to it, maybe.
Grace.
Hey, Eros. Nice to... Oh. Okay.
Aw.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much you have no idea.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
I feel for you.
Hey, I understand. This can't be easy.
She's the one who is suffering. I shouldn't be complaining. I just hate this. I'm there every day, going through it all with her. The nightmares, the panic attacks, the weeks when she just won't get out of bed. I'm there when she forgets the war's over, and I hold her until the screaming stops. Me. I do that.
That sounds awful.
And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Is there no other way?
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
We can ask him what happened to her, which seems like prying, but... it's gentler than this, I think.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't usually talk about it, but I know you don't mean any harm. What happened is that Brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see, so he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one. He found some jackbooted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy, and he told them about the idols. Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh boy. Oh. This is really dark and... Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to put a content warning at the beginning of this episode, I think. I'm really loving how the game is handling it, by the way. It's just a lot. Oh, especially seeing how Eros is dealing with it. Like... God, to see your parent go through something like this, it's horrible. It's really awful. I really do feel for him so much.
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
No. Should I?
God of smiths. He could make anything, any tool or weapon. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
They tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Tell me about this deal.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
He knows this. Like, I don't really want to breach this subject with him, so I want to stop this.
Maybe I shouldn't ask, but is there any way to change Aphrodite's mind?
You say that as if I haven't tried. If only... She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
I'll do my best. Like, there's nothing else I can do. Of course I'm gonna try.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. Do whatever you think is right, Grace. And thank you.
Oh boy. Oh, this is some heavy stuff. Hey, Apollo. Let's chat. Why not?
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
Eros wants this to stop.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble. Piece by piece. Only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
You don't seem comfortable.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
That would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
Why is that?
Why is that exactly? Wouldn't you feel more like you belonged after 1,000 years together?
Is your assumption that all those centuries bring great wisdom?
Don't they?
We get older. We have more to forget. We hold grudges longer, but wiser. No. Not so far.
I should get back out there.
Wait for Aphrodite. Okay. Let's try to sway this poor woman through song.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
Nice to meet you again.
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have. Grace, Grace, meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus, and yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
You were chosen?
Hi. I have to admit, it'll be weird watching this happen the, proper way.
Because I'm chosen?
Yeah. I wasn't. Not like this, anyhow.
Yeah, Lady Aphrodite told me. I'm so sorry, that sounds awful.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
Okay. I mean, can we talk her out of it without telling her to talk her out of it? Should we... Will it help to use the... I want to use this because it's the green option. I mean, let's use the question mark
Are
option
you sure
first.
we can't talk first? I really need your help, Aphrodite.
I know you do, my dear. I wish I could be there for you, but I'm afraid my time is up. But since you've shown such kindness in coming, I will ask Eros to make himself available to you afterwards. There's nothing I know that he does not. He is my son, my truest friend, my longest love.
Won't he be... a little distracted?
Eros has been through this before, Grace. He knows what must be done.
I want to do this. It's green.
I just want to say... I'm really sorry that this happened to you, that you need to do this.
A babe in our dreary world, and yet already possessed of such earnest purpose.
Weren't you opposed to this, Grace?
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
You look remarkably well, cousin.
I've had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
To forget?
To ease your suffering? To forget about what happened?
An escape into the soothing blackness. To swim in Lethean waters, at least for a time.
Does it help?
I don't know. Each Aphrodite before me begged for mercy. This is all I can do for all of us. Even so, tonight is not about the pain. It is about honoring the memory of what was while that memory still persists. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
Okay, hopefully, is there a way to turn it back so that I didn't realize that the green option there would be supporting her in this decision. Hopefully there's a way to turn this back so that I want to stop her again.
Back again.
Aphrodite won't help me.
I don't think I'll have a chance to talk to Aphrodite. Not before, you know.
I was hoping she might have spared a moment.
What should I do?
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest,
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
And doesn't regret it. Or get angry at me for ruining her party.
Do what you feel is right. It's a risk either way.
I should get back out there.
We're not getting anything out of her, so I think the best we can do is just try to stop this from happening. Let's talk to Venus. She seems cool, and I like her character design very much. I love her eyeshadow and lipstick matching purple. Very pretty.
I should apologize, Grace. Saying that I was chosen like I'm somehow more special.
Tattoo too.
I really didn't mean it that way. I hope you can... I'm sorry. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
You can't be ready for this. Second thoughts? Ask her if she has second thoughts.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
It happened so fast. And then I was getting whisked off by Hermes to meet the chorus, so I didn't really have time to process it.
I'm not sure. It happened so fast I didn't know what to think. Calliope died and then... all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
How do you know her?
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's it? Just like that?
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
You're okay with all this? Ask her about her name first. That's a funny coincidence.
Your name's really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that. Even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
It's funny she says that. Venus has always been on my list of baby names, like my short list of baby names for a girl. I have names that are higher ranked than it, and it probably won't be a name I ever use, but I really like that name. You're okay with all this?
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Errol's called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
But it's temporary mercy. That's my biggest problem with this, is that it's temporary. And we're just gonna have to go through this all over again.
But don't you feel this is wrong? I mean, you're ending your life. It's like some kind of murder-suicide pact.
I don't think of it like that. Lady Aphrodite is not committing suicide, and I'm not being murdered.
Aren't you? Your life is ending. It's being taken over, swallowed up by Aphrodite's grief.
I'm becoming part of something bigger. Something amazing. Or maybe you're right. It'll be terrible, and I'll end up in so much pain I'll regret it.
So why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
Okay. Oh god, I'm nervous for this. I hope I pick the right responses, because I do not want this to happen. Okay. I don't know what else there would be to talk to Apollo about. We didn't leave any options unchosen, so let's just begin. Let's begin and see how this goes. There she is. So pretty.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Our so-called brother Ares sold his soul forevermore. He so loved the military, he became their dog of war. He denounced his loving family, and with mortal guns and greed, on a plate gladly delivered everything that war dogs need. He betrayed us and we let him, with their mortal souls long gone. We thought we were untouchable. We were wrong. We were wrong. I see you have the power. It's a poisonous reward. My virtues only scorned me when I was once adored. Loved by every mortal, then ripped from paradise. No one suffered greater till he made his sacrifice. open so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory. And this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I can see everything, it's interesting why you feel so blue. Because of the horror show from long ago, there ain't no getting through. A husband who sacrificed and paid the price for you to be free. Wherever he is right now, you'd think somehow that...
Excuse me.
Sorry, I'm on a roll. I don't pretend to know the mind of a god. That's something I never thought I'd say. I'm not the only one here who wants to know. Is leaving now the only way to go?
I'm confused. Who are you? Thank you for sharing, little one. You're 80 years overdue. Now take your seat, you've had your fun. I think you'll find I'm a god. Making note of the staggering lack of help. And so no matter what you think you know, this ceremony is the only way to go.
Aphrodite, I know just what you mean. The pain has brought us so low. There's no end in sight. How do we fight? If you can't move on, you got to move on. If we can't move on, you got to move on. If you can't move on, you got to move on.
I'm stunned by the arrogance, but eloquent sparks something in me. If you view us honestly, you promise me all the help I need. I'll be the kind of a god you'll worship and adore like before. Thank you, Venus, a brilliant cameo.
And together we will face it, 'cause forgetting won't erase it. Moving on's the only way to go. The only way to go.
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to...
Live. I have chosen to live.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
Oh. Oh my god. Okay, so the changing styles of the songs in the middle, depending on what choices you make, but also not, because I chose 2 blue options in a row, and they were wildly different styles of song, but that's a little bit jarring. But oh my god, the first part of that song was so beautiful. Aphrodite's solo when she talked about the war in front of the stained glass windows. Oh, I was tearing up. Like, I don't, you probably couldn't hear me. I was tearing up a little bit. That was beautiful, and oh god, if I was an alto, that would be part of my repertoire forever. I unfortunately have a soprano voice, and that's a little low for me, but oh my god, I will buy every soundtrack to this game because there are like 3 or 4 of them. I will buy every soundtrack to this game just for that part. Oh my god, it was beautiful. You'll fight this together.
This is the only way you'll get through it. Together, as a family.
If there's any chance, Mother, any at all, this is it.
I know, my loves. I hope you're right. Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Someone at the reliquary.
Calliope was at the reliquary when she was attacked, but I only know of 3 people who were there.
And you're sure none of them are responsible, Grace?
I thought maybe Medusa, but I've spoken to her and I think it's someone else.
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. It must have been the reliquary.
What kind of plan?
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
If only we'd known she intended to go to the reliquary. How on earth did she even get in?
She used the key, the one Pan gave her. When Calliope arrived, she dropped it. Then she laughed and said she'd better not lose it because Pan won't give me another key to the reliquary. I didn't know it was important.
Well, there's your help, Grace. I can't give you any better.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
Oh. Cute little family.
So, did they have anything helpful?
Got an achievement. He might be innocent. Because if she was going to the reliquary to defend herself, then Pan was helping her. So, yeah, he might be innocent.
I'm not sure. He might have an explanation for this. Again.
He has a way of making things seem reasonable, it's true. But that doesn't make him a villain.
I guess. Aren't you the one who first said he was probably guilty?
Worth investigating still. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
I'm thinking about Calliope's memories. I feel like that would be the most upsetting thing to her. Although, we're charming, kind, empathetic Grace. I think she's probably still thinking about Aphrodite. Let's talk about Aphrodite.
What Aphrodite went through, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about the life of an immortal. It never ends.
Wow. Way to really sell it, Apollo.
So, I have a question. I know you're angry with Pan, but I also noticed something in how you speak of him. Am I correct in believing there's something there?
I think so.
Maybe? Yes? I don't know. It's confusing. And I think he likes that.
It's none of my business, but no matter what I've said of Pan, his feelings run deep.
Oh.
Don't underestimate him, but also don't write him off. Not yet, anyhow.
Oh boy. I'm guessing that going back to the apartment will trigger the next day or another scene. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. Oh boy, that was a heavy one, but I'm very pleased with how it all worked out. God. Like, honestly, I think that entire sequence was the best part of this game so far. I I think it handled the themes that it chose very well. It chose some dark themes and it handled them well. Um, and it was beautiful and it made me cry a little. So, yeah, very impressed with that whole sequence. So, yeah, I have been Mars, and I will be back with more Stray Gods.